We're back with another episode of the Insecure audio commentary series. Hello, welcome back here on the Polaris Network. I'm the co-founder as well as your co-host, Bree Mei-Li. This is episode 9 out okay of Insecure. We're almost at the finish line, y'all. But if you're listening to this right now, I'm gonna need y'all to like, comment, and share this video because we have amazing content coming to you this week. We have Spider-Man No Way Home. That movie was amazing. That's coming
amazing.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes. Yes. And we have a Hawkeye, the last episode of Hawkeye, and then we're done.
Yes.
We love Marvel here. But I do want to open up the floor to my lovely co-host that is sharing this episode with me. So I'm going to have you all comment and let the audience know who you are.
This is Melissa from According to This Black Girl podcast.
Hey everyone, this is Ashley M.
And Ashley R of Body Art Noir.
This is Cam.
Okay, thank you all ladies for coming on again for another episode. I'm so excited to talk to y'all about this. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the first moment of this episode, Issa and Nathan are checking out a new apartment. I'm pretty sure it's in LA. It looked really nice for a 2-bedroom apartment. Oh my god.
It looked like it was in Leimert. Like it looked like those old apartments that were in a Leimert. Like it looks like the interior big and spacious.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh my god, I have to check out apartments over there since I'm looking for places next year. So if you're listening to this, anyone in the audience, you got any, you know. But yeah, it was a really nice place, and you know, they were visualizing their place, their self there, and then the agent was like, "Oh, I already gave it to somebody else." I was like,
Rude.
that was hella
Terrible.
The worst.
Hilarious. I literally cackled out loud so hard. Like, no.
Issa was like, "You better get him, Nathan, because if I get him, he's gonna."
But that speaks to what's going on in LA right now. It's a seller's market, you know. Like I just talking to somebody that he's trying to buy a house, they put all these contingencies. They're asking to live rent free for 15 days in the house after he bought it, like all types of stuff because they can right now. And so that just speaks to exactly what's going on right now in LA. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cackled. I love just watching them kind of walk through and envision. I think that is like perfect, but definitely love the end where they like cut and you know you see Issa and him get ready to go all the way off, and it's just like and Insecure, welcome. But I agree, that is 100% LA. My friend recently was looking for an apartment, and it was like week after week was something crazy with each situation, but they finally found one.
Yeah, the apartments be flying off the market so quick. It's so frustrating. But I think, and Insecure always does that. That's what I'm gonna miss about this show. Like whenever they have like a great lead up and then they just start the title credit at the perfect time. It's so great.
Yes.
Like, the part with like the vase. I always remember that. Like the vase, they talk about the vase, they argue about the vase, and then they cut to Insecure title.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna miss that of Insecure. I think so. What happened after that? I went blank because I want to talk about the end right now. So
Molly at her work, right?
Oh
Molly,
yes.
Being super obvious at work.
Oh yeah.
You ain't gonna hug this man? Yeah.
Yeah.
The tension was so loud.
It's just you can't be cool. Like once you sleep with somebody, I feel like I've been in that situation. It's very hard to be cool in front of other people.
I didn't know they slept together yet, though.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. They haven't slept together.
They hadn't, but like they want to. So that's that's the same. It's just like doing it. And so you act all weird. But I mean, I didn't do it like that. That was terrible. But super obvious.
Yeah, I loved how their coworkers knew off the bat, like, oh
yeah, they know. They know.
But Molly tried to save it with the hug. I love that moment.
She probably could have pulled it off at her old firm, but not at this firm.
Yeah, not
Right.
at all.
Yeah.
They saw right through it.
Well, she hugged him a little bit too long. Like, it wasn't the hug, it was the way she hugged him. It was she squeezed, she closed her eyes, she did a little squeeze and made a sound. It's like, girl.
That was
his
his last
hands
hug.
were low.
You're really excited for Torian, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Wait, so after that, it was, what was it? Was it the party like right after?
No, I think they cut to Lawrence and Chad.
Chad.
I'm thinking
Chad.
that's where they went next because that just makes logical sense in my head. Chad is I love to hate him because he's very funny, but he's exactly a whole fool. You got it right there. Just like, damn it, Chad. What the heck? But I love the conversation. I love him. You know, obviously he's in real estate. He's talking to the same thing. Like, I need you to go ahead about this so that I can have the things that I need. In very true Chad fashion, it's about him ultimately, not helping your friend find a house.
Right. But I did like that he said you didn't fight for her.
Yes.
That struck a chord with me because that is so true. Like, women, I think we go to battle for our relationships all the time. I'm not saying that men don't, but because I think they're just not used to like someone doing them like that. Like, oh, I'm just done. And so he didn't even say anything. He just let her go, which I could so see being realistic. So I did like that he brought it up because Lawrence is like in his life just kind of sitting around like when he didn't have a job, you know, kind of just like he said, letting life. What did he say? Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Sitting at the dock. Yes,
that was a classic
on the dock of the bay.
That was a classic line.
Yeah, and that's what he did. That's what he was before. You know, I don't have a job. A job will come to me. They should give me this much money. No, you have to go after things.
Exactly. And I think as a woman, you want your guy to show that you want them. And in that moment, if Lawrence truly loved her and was happy and they grew into this item of like, it was just perfect, like they were on the same accord, I wouldn't have let that go so easily.
Right.
And it was just, I feel like it was just a lot of insecurities. Like, well, no, I don't even think it was insecurities. Like you said, Melissa, he was just waiting around and he just, stayed in that energy.
Well, I think it comes like when it gets to the end where he's just saying like he understood. So I think it's also kind of like, like when you think that you're doing right by what that other person wants. So I definitely think he should have fought for her. But when you look at his circumstances, it was more of I think it was one of those things where like, I mean, I guess like that makes sense. Like I am truly having a full baby and I truly am moving away. So maybe it felt a little impossible at the time.
Yeah, but it was like a whole, like the baby's like what, like 6-7 months now? So that was back 9 months in the stomach. Or
I agree. I'm not saying because I know that it happened to me more recently. I had broken up with somebody in March and they hit me up like 2 months ago. Like, I didn't even fight for it. I'm like, all right, well, I'm a peace out. Like, what do I do now?
Yeah. Do you think if you would have, if that happened, was there any other way he could have worded it for you to like, go back to him? Or was it like just a moot point because time went by so long?
I think that there probably was, but I think it was, for me, it went back to the same thing that I had complaints within the relationship. It's like, I'm glad you're finally realizing this, but what's your next step? Like when the thing was like, oh, well, can we hang out? I'm like, I mean, I guess. And then he asked me what I wanted to do. Nope, wrong answer.
Nope.
Talk to you later. Talk to you later, because that was the wrong answer. Like that's not okay. Like it gets back to what we were talking about when we were breaking up. So
Okay.
For that instance, it wasn't happening.
Okay. Am I confused, or was Issa and Lawrence going to make the distance work before the baby?
Absolutely,
that was the conversation, right?
Yeah, they were.
It's not the distance, like he brought it up, but it was the baby. Like let's call a spade a spade. Like it was the baby, not the distance. And maybe the two together just seemed overwhelming, but
maybe the combo.
Yeah, but they were gonna make the distance work in the beginning. Like it's the baby is why you walked off.
Agree.
Yeah, and then it was like, I don't know how good the relationship was after that news came out, because it seemed like it was just a weekend. I can't remember. It's like it's starting to get foggy, but it was like a weekend thing, and then she came back like, okay, I got to do this now. So yeah, I'll talk more about that when we get to that end scene. But so yeah, Chad, I agreed with what Chad said, honestly, at the core of it. But he definitely has that instigator role to him
Vibes.
as well.
And I think that's one thing that Chad has been consistent the whole time. If nothing else, Chad has been Chad through and through the whole time. I mean, I think there was that point when he was in the bar talking to Chad and he was like, he called her a hoe, and Lawrence was like, she's not a hoe. He's like, well, she did some hoe shit, you know, so that I can love Chad for it, even though, again, I love to hate him personally.
Yeah, he keeps Lawrence honest. He's like a mirror. Every time Lawrence wants to not look, he holds it up and he's like, but like you said, she did some hoe shit. I'm not saying she a hoe, you know, so like,
yeah,
I
when
feel
Lawrence
like she
Hey,
keeps
Chad,
honest.
Chad referred to Issa as old girl. I was like,
Yeah, right.
I was like, you know Issa? Like, no.
Petty.
Right.
And his petty came out in this episode. His petty came out.
It did. It did. Okay, so after that scene, I think it was at the party, right?
Yeah,
Tiffany
they
and Derek.
walk in the party.
Mhm.
They see the photos of Issa and Molly when they're young.
Oh, yeah. I love Tiffany's dress in this.
Her dress was pretty.
Mhm.
Really? The Tiffany's dress?
Mhm.
I thought it was so ugly. I'm
You
like,
did?
bottom. Yeah, I'm like, what is that? I thought it was a joke. I'm like, maybe that was part of the script. So like, I don't know.
It was like when it reminded me of I did not like Natalia's Brian's dress when she went to Met Gala, but it reminded me of that type of style. But
Yeah,
I like florals, so that could be.
Laura's pretty. Yeah, it's just a little puffy thing at the bottom. I was confused about, but yeah.
I think that's making a comeback though. I see that style a lot now.
Yeah.
I know I'm the insecure commentary Condola hater, but again, here we go with Condola. She didn't have to go to the bathroom all that bad. She just wanted Lawrence to be holding that baby because she saw Issa.
You think?
Yes, it had petty all over it.
Oh my!
She did it. As soon as she did it,
your mommy bladder. It's petty.
Oh my gosh, I did not catch that.
Had petty all over it. Here, take the baby. Yeah, you take him. And then they playing. She was showing off her Issa.
But that would just negate everything she said when she went to go talk to Lawrence about.
You're right, because she can't decide what she want to do.
We play those games as women. Let's not even play. Like we be doing that shit. And
that's why I spotted it. As soon as she did it, I was like, "Ooh, got you."
I expect it though. I feel like any woman would do it. Like there's an emotional attachment there. She had that man's child, you know. So whether he wants her or not, and she doesn't know that he is in love with that woman that she's trying to make jealous, like she has her own issues, her own thing going on, you know.
Yep. Ooh, speaking of that, on the side note, she totally clocked him check out Lisa though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. If she only knew that they saw each other at the hospital, you know, that would have been a whole different situation. Yeah.
I just like that triangle with everything. It's crazy because, you know, they were close, like they were real close. And then, you know, they went to that thing, that art walk, Lawrence and Issa. Then, you know, Issa hit the Lawrence, or Lawrence hit the Issa, whichever way you want to look at it, about saying, I want to be with you. I'm happy. Don't choose her, choose me type of energy. And that's what she did to Condola. And I think Condola found that out. So,
just like Nathan found out with Lawrence and Issa right now. So I'm like, big deal. Like everybody has their moment, and they have their time when they like have that, you know, reflection period, and they're like, damn, what was I doing? You know?
I just think it's so funny how the pattern keeps on repeating though.
It's love. It's like it's cyclical.
Cyclical.
Yes.
I think no, but okay. So
can we back up just a little bit
before I go to Molly and her situation, Molly and Torian. And Torian, I think, was like one of my favorite parts of this episode.
I agree. Just a little breakout star right there. He just gave us personality. I loved
Yes.
it. I love how they walked in all holding hands
Mhm.
and all the teasing from the friends.
Mhm. And I was like, what is going on? Because his comment was so off. And then Molly found out that he took an edible. I was like, oh.
Oh, well, he hadn't taken it at that point.
Oh, he
I think
didn't?
no,
No.
he bought them edibles as a gift and realized it wasn't that type of party because he's like,
Oh,
I
that's
brought you
what
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he said trash, and it's like, well, thank you for bringing me trash.
Right.
And then she
Okay, I
pulls him
thought it
off
was
to
just
the side, and
okay.
then that's when he realized, well, he's like, I bought edibles, and she was like, well, let's just do them. And that was my energy. Yes, Molly, let's just do them.
That makes so much more sense because I
I
thought
was
he was on the
wondering
edibles.
if she like. I'm surprised she even did it. I was like, is this gonna be Coachella all over again? I know they took something different, but still, her experience was not great then.
I think that was a flashback to Coachella for sure because that was like one of my favorite episodes of that season. For
I
sure.
loved it. I
I like
loved
that
that.
we made them feel comfortable. Like, yeah, you brought edibles to a very fancy going away party, but that shows like we can be in a relationship because that's what would happen. It's like we either need to hide it together or we're gonna take it together. Those are
Mhm.
options, but together is what we're doing. And I
Mhm.
like that they
Absolutely.
did that together.
Mhm.
Agree.
Yes. And then oh man, it's just so much to get into. Where do I start? So no, they did the shout outs. Tiffany did the shout outs. And then Molly was like, nobody said that.
I said that.
Gone.
Oh, we skipped over Dro walking in.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Joe.
that was happening at the time. That was happening while she was doing the shout out.
Oh, was it? Oh, I was
Yeah,
thought that was already
yeah.
there. I'm like,
No, because it was in the middle of like they were like, we want to, Tiffany does
Yeah.
her grand, blah blah blah. She starts
Mhm.
pointing out people, and I think as that's happening, he says
Oh.
Andro, and then that's when Molly has her moment, and we're like, oh shit, the edibles are hitting.
Mhm. Oh, like, is he really here?
Listen,
Yeah.
I didn't think we were gonna see him.
I didn't see
So
that coming.
random. Yeah.
And obviously not with Candace. I was like, I didn't even at the beginning, I didn't even recognize he wasn't with Candace. I just saw Dro and anamorphous person next to him. Like
Yes,
you didn't even see a
somebody.
face. And then yes, exactly. And it wasn't until they had the conversation. I was like, that ain't Candace, you right.
I love that Joe's appearance in this season because that was just like sealed the deal. Because I was gonna go back into that point I was making when we were talking about Molly, like how cyclical love is, and that was just like an ending of something like you like when you end something that you were just so attached to and like that you were attached to. It was just like a moment of like growth, like you just witnessed just like so seamlessly. Like
Yep.
she had no emotional attachment at all to him, and I love that. And it was just like end of a
Very
toxic
matter of fact.
pattern.
Yeah.
I kind of want to know what happened with him because wasn't his wife pregnant or something? Like they found out that she was pregnant.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, I think that was
At the baby
end of
shower
last.
episode.
Yes, you're right.
So I was like, I want to know what happened. And
Maybe
I will
it
say
wasn't
he
his
looked
baby.
better this season because I hated how he looked in the other seasons. I did not think he was attractive at all. And then
That is
I was like, oh,
hilarious.
he looked a little better.
Listen, my best friend texted me and she said Dro has 3 hairstyles happening simultaneously, and I died.
Joe in real life is with Tasha, I believe. Like they have
They had a
together.
baby. Yeah, I remember that.
That's true.
I was like,
But maybe Candace's baby wasn't his because they were open or
they were in an
whatnot.
open relationship.
That could, yeah, that's true.
He got in his feelings and stuff. Yeah.
That may be, yeah. That
Conspiracy
was
theories.
wild.
I still think that she didn't know that he was with Molly. That's still
I agree. I don't think was she really open? Did we ever get her say?
Yeah,
they
got
got
a confirmation that they were in an open
Dro
relationship.
said it like air quotes, but I don't think he actually talked to Candace about it.
There was one time when they were in bed and he was at Molly's and Candace called and he said, I'm at Molly's. And I'm not sure with the timeline, if it was like an overnight thing, but there were definitely a moment where they were in bed and he clearly said, I'm at Molly's.
I remember that. I remember that moment.
Yeah, don't know if it was an overnight thing that might have like indicated that, yeah, Candace knows I'm here overnight, but I don't know if that's a reach.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we got off. Oh, so we were doing shout outs. So they're shouting out people. We getting the heartfelt shout out for Kelly. I love the very random one for Issa. It was like, I don't know anybody like you. I think that was the
Right.
sentiment.
Right.
And then
You're so different from my other friends. Yeah. So awkward.
And, right. And then of course we have petty Chad who's like, do me. And it was like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, because then so what was the last point that that I guess it does make sense. Tiffany's last point was to Molly, and then Molly said that about like she said the same thing.
Or I think she was just wrapping it up and said, she said something about friendship. She said, but what Denver won't have is you. So she started with that and she ended with that.
Yeah.
Hence the reason Molly went back and was like, the edible said again, we've heard this before.
Okay. Yeah, I love that moment. So that then they split up, and I think, so we have the girls go in the house and the boys stay outside. Let's cover the boys first.
The barbecue.
Can I just do one quick shout out real quick? I love you get, what is it, Papa? What did he call his crew? Papa something?
Papa Posse.
Papa Posse. I just thought that was really cute. I was like, oh, because that's the stage of life that they're at. So it was cute for me.
That's true. Does Chad have kids?
I don't think Chad does.
No.
There.
Did he finally get married?
I don't think he mentioned a girl's name at some point, but I don't know who she was.
Yeah, they never showed who she was.
Yeah. So the the boys are on the side like chatting it up, and then they started talking about I get the food.
Torian trying to get Uber Eats on barbecue. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they had this whole debacle about food and barbecuing. And Lawrence and Nathan get into it. And I just thought it was so funny that Lawrence called Nathan a transplant, because I hear that term a lot in California, especially in LA, because there's a community. Well,
it's a culture. It's a part of the culture.
Yeah.
You have the people who are natives versus the people who got here, and then how people.
But Lawrence isn't even a native.
Yeah.
Where's Lawrence from?
I don't know, but I remember, wasn't he on that date? He said he's from LA, but kind of.
Yeah. He said, kind of.
Yeah. So I think he moved to LA after college. That's what I'm getting.
That's what I thought too. Okay. Because I'm like, wait, because when Lawrence said he was a transplant, I'm like, aren't you a transplant too?
Right.
Ow. Kettle calling a pot black, we see. Plot twist.
But so I was like, this tension between Lawrence and Nathan, because this is the first time they encountered each other,
Absolutely.
And
right. Nobody loves Woody's barbecue that much. I'm just throwing it out.
Listen, sis, when they started naming, I was like, nope, yes, nope, nope.
And then Torian was like, all this tension, oh my goodness.
Right.
And just said it out loud. And then, Issa's brother, he pulled the guy that quick.
Right.
And was like, yeah, that man. I was like, oh my goodness.
And the brother was trying to lessen the tension and like talk about something else, but then Nathan pulled it right back. It was like, and we're back.
Yeah, he was like, oh no, me and Issa are looking for a place. And then I just added fuel to the fire. But Lawrence really tried Nathan in this episode.
True.
I think the part that he really said that really got under Nathan's skin was that, if it's so good, why did you move here, basically, or why people, that, and it was like, okay. Oh, interesting.
Something like about like keeping her, like
it's something to keep them.
And I think I think he was referring to the phone call that obviously Nathan doesn't know about.
Ooh.
Oh,
right.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Oh gosh. Yeah, because Nathan doesn't. Oh, and I wonder how that's gonna play out if Issa even tells him.
She's got to now. She has to at this point.
Yeah, she has to. Dang, that's gonna be
Look,
messy.
listen to me. Does she? Lawrence ain't gonna tell her. Lawrence ain't gonna say, but she called
Yeah,
me on
because I don't think that's
Tuesday.
gonna be a good move.
Does she?
Honestly, that is not gonna be a good move because she made the decision not to call. Like she stopped. So
You
I
need
don't
to
know.
know.
I don't
I
think she
did
has
not call
to.
him back.
Yeah, I don't think. Do you think she really has to like tell him?
I wouldn't. I'll just
I
be
don't think.
threatening
Yeah,
myself.
Yeah, I think it's.
Ashley R ain't telling nothing.
I think,
Mhm.
or they have a conversation about it. It's not like a secret or like a hidden thing. It's like, this is what happened. This is how I was feeling. I'm being honest with you,
Mhm.
And if he can't relate to that, then I don't know. Like, they're gonna have to find a way to get through that, because
Yeah.
we all go through things like that. And they did have a relationship. You can't like just erase him from your,
True,
Mhm.
you can't erase him, but like if it was me, and again, maybe this is my woman intuition, when he said not keeping her after the end, if we get home and we talking about that, I mean, what did he mean by that?
Mm.
Because did something going on that I don't know about?
Yeah.
Because that stuck out to me. As soon as he said it, I knew it was about the phone call, and
He
that
gotta bring it up. Look, he gotta bring it up.
Right.
Yeah.
he got to bring it up. Like, she shouldn't just divulge and just say. But I feel like that's gonna come up.
Yeah, that's
Well,
Absolutely.
especially after she mentioned that he moved back, and he's probably like, "How do
You
you know
hide
he moved
stuff.
back?"
Mm. That's not a
I was
good.
surprised he didn't ask that question. Like, "Oh, how did you know? Did he tell?" You know what I
Right.
mean?
Now
So.
he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't know. It's not looking good. It's not looking good on either side for that because I don't think it was like I don't think Issa should have withheld that information because it looks like Nathan, because Issa at the end of the day was crying about Lawrence too, Nathan.
But how do you? I mean, you can't say like, okay. So hear me out though, because like that wouldn't come up naturally. Like if you really in a relationship, you made a call but you didn't go through with it. I don't think at any point I would have been like, so 3 weeks ago, I just randomly called Lawrence. I mean, it was out the blue and all, but he called me back, but I ain't answered. I don't know if there's a way to bridge that when things were going well.
No,
Honestly.
I was talking about when Lawrence moved back and then when she saw him at the hospital.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that's kind of like, I think just like put it out there because now it's looking like Issa's hiding something.
Yeah. And you never want to be in a room with your exes, with your current ex, and they come up and like Lawrence did, say something slick that you don't know about. That's my number one fear. I always tell all my boyfriends, we could go to a party where your ex is at. That's fine. I just need to know who you slept with in here, how many of them, and when it was, because she will come up to you and say something and think she's sharing information with you that you don't know to get under your skin. I think that's gross. And so she should have, knowing that Lawrence might have been there, at least pulled him to the side and said, hey, yeah, Lawrence is going to probably be there. He's back in town. Just a heads up.
Especially, with just because of the history. And, you don't, especially with a new relationship, which you're trying to like build into something.
But here's, again, I think it's hard because they have mutual friends. So technically, she could have found that out from anybody because she never actually spoke to Lawrence, right? At all. So there was really, I mean, again, there was no conversation, nothing actually happened.
That's true.
So this is common knowledge at this point.
That's true.
Not common to Nathan though. It's not
common to Nathan. True.
Yeah, because Nathan doesn't have the same friend group at all with them. Like he said, he kind of came into her element with that. She doesn't have because all of them have more relationships with each other, and Nathan's like new.
Yeah, I just still don't see how you breach the subject very, very gracefully, and especially with Issa's awkwardness. I don't know how you breach that. Oh, by the way, my ex just moved back to LA, but I ain't tripping though. Like it just feels awkward because I feel like that.
Smooth way to say it.
Oh, is that smooth? Now I'm smooth. I didn't even know I was smooth.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know if that even then I think that would have caused a little bit of a slack to be like, well, why are you worried about it if you're not worried about him?
That's true too. That's true. Man, it's just like okay, because
ain't no right answer.
It's a lot of like eggshells, and I'm like, like that's just so stressful to be in a relationship like that. Just thinking like that, and that just when I'm thinking of this, I'm comparing it to Molly and Torian's situation, because she said this is just so easy and natural.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
So can we go back to the girls now?
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, because they were
in the kitchen.
it was the
They were in the
moment with
kitchen.
Molly. Yeah.
Molly's laugh.
Oh, the laugh.
I love that they're making plans for the future. I love the fact that Tiffany is like, I'm coming back for your birthday. And I think that's very important to do as your dynamics are shifting. Of course, moving away and moving like flight distance away. It's nice to be able to kind of talk that through, because I think there is that anxiety that you're going to not be as close anymore, not see each other anymore. So I do love that they address that in that moment. And it's still, even though we know that the dynamic is changing, it still feels very much like old times, if you will.
Yeah, they're in it together, gonna work it out together. Yeah, they do have like a strong friendship bond, because I think that's what that foundation of friendship is there, and it's easy to build on when you have that foundation. But yeah, Molly was hiding in that conversation, and they were all like, what is going on with her? Until she like said she ate an edible. But I love that moment.
That slap from Kelly.
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
And then Condola walks in on them.
They all got quiet.
Everybody, yeah. Hey.
I was like, oh shoot, because I thought Issa was gonna go along with them.
You should have. I would have just ignored her.
Yeah, there's nothing to talk about.
Exactly.
Listen,
I was not.
I would have been gone.
Yeah, I would have been gone too, because the way she was acting, especially because she wasn't there for the last thing. I think the last time she ran into her was at the block party, and she just was there for like a hot second and left.
Yeah. But I do feel like they had a moment, just like a little tiny moment that like gave me a spark. I can't remember what was said or what happened was, but it gave me a little spark of like, that's how they became, like you could see like there was a little chemistry there with their friendship, because they did click so easily. So there was something, I don't remember what was said, but it was just kind of like, there was a little drop of that guard, and then you were like, oh shit, this is awkward as fuck. Let me get out of here.
Yeah.
It was about the colleague that they both know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With the eyebrows.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they all said, like, Molly was like, ooh girl, that was awkward when that whole moment was over. But it was. I was like, oh sheesh. I don't know how it would have been. And I would have walked away, like you said earlier. But okay, so after that, they're outside. It's nighttime. Molly and
I think before it got nighttime, I think that's when she talked to Dro. So she comes out of the kitchen. She runs into Dro. They do that update, and I think that explains the call from a couple of weeks ago. Was I guess he was calling to tell that he got divorced, which clearly she already knows now, because at some point I guess she talked to her mama and found out that happened.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about Dro coming back for a moment?
No, I think like before, like I think that was like a great moment just to see Molly's growth, and I love that he made that appearance just so for us to witness that. Because they were childhood friends, like before anything.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing Molly interact with him and just be so like, this is what it is. I'm not ashamed of it. Torian, this is what was up, and that was that.
I love his reaction. I love his reaction.
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again,
like, that's I feel like that's how it should be, like don't shame any, like there should be no shame about your past, because your past led you to where you are now.
But I think go for it.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and once again, Torian is showing up as a full-ass, grown-ass man one more time. Like he was just like, all right, cool. Anyways, I'm still high. Where are we gonna get these snacks?
You explained that. Thank you. Yeah,
Didn't
no,
think twice. Then was like,
no,
oh no, it was just like, all right, I'm secure enough in what we have. So yeah, it is what it is.
it seemed like
And
a it seemed like a
go for
test.
it.
When she walked out, she looks kind of like nervous to talk to Dro at first.
Oh,
And with the edible and then talking to Dro and him getting divorced, I was like holding my hands together, going, okay, Molly, stay tight, girl. Don't try to fall back into that Dro trap. You got Torian here. He's a whole grown ass man. He just made partner. The bag is secured.
oh shoot, yeah.
Listen,
Yes.
listen.
Please don't mess this up. And she did perfect. And I think it was like a test, like Bree said, to show us that she has grown, like, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I also love, I feel like it caught Dro off guard because I don't think he was ready for that honesty. And I think
No,
it really
he looks so
gave
uncomfortable.
him, listen. And it just lets you know, like, I ain't even about that. You ain't got that kind of hold on me no more. And I think that was
Mhm.
like a shock to his system.
Yep.
Snap, snap, snaps. I like Molly is like the MVP of this season. I
Absolutely.
Yes.
fan. So after that,
I think it's now nighttime. I think you're right.
yeah, and then Molly and Torian like sneak off and
eat all the food.
I was
Before we get there, the cameo by Princess, that cackled me.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Princess Penny. I was like, oh shoot, Princess, you better show up in this episode.
Like, he showed up and was trying to give the snacks, and Torian was not about get out of here.
I loved it. I loved it so much. I love cameos like that. But yeah,
I think it was Condola and Lawrence, right? They had just like she was leaving, and she said that's when she told Lawrence that she talked to Issa.
Oh, and was like, she's glad that all the awkward energy's gone. Technically, it's not, but
No,
it's not. It's not over.
But yeah, I was like, all right, Condola, get out of here.
Get out of here.
I know that's Tiffany's girl. That's her friend and all.
Macaroni balls. That's where we're going.
Macaroni balls.
Yep.
I was like, oh, I hope because I was like, I saw food falling out their mouth. I'm like, I know they're not.
Listen, I have never been that high. Let me just tell you, I don't know what kind of edibles they ate, but I ain't never ate like that.
Honestly, I was like, geez, that food looked good though.
It did. They did good. The catering was good.
Yeah, it looked really good. But I was like, But yeah, then they had that little sweet moment in the pantry. I was like, oh my goodness.
Also very honest. Just Molly said, like, hold up, let me just tell you, people get, tired of me or whatever. And I think you can feel that way if you're single, like me being single in my 30s. I think you can feel that way. Like, you start a relationship and it doesn't fizzle out for a real reason, but you're not with that person anymore. And it's like, did they just get tired of me? And so her being able to say that honestly and be like, I would be hurt if that happened with you. Again, growth, Molly, just all around. You see that you're acknowledging it, but you're still willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable. Girl, a win.
Yes, I agree. I think it was beautiful. And I was like, yes, come on, pantry. Give this to me the way that it needs to be given.
It's just so funny how honesty is just so refreshing to see in moments like that. It really, especially I guess it's just like you feel it even more because Molly is just she just transformed so much throughout the season.
I think it's a contrast to what Issa's going through. Molly is on a straight path to, well, we hope at least, to this relationship with Torian, to things, getting her parent situation together and her job is secure and all that. She's on the straight path, and Issa's kind of waving around, and it kind of shows them brighter, if that's the word to use, like on both sides. Like, so Molly may be doing real regular ass stuff, but because what Issa's doing is so messy that it makes Molly's look so clear.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Because Issa got a lot going on right now. Almost like I think the whole entire series. But I'm excited to see her little monologue that she had in like the little credits after this episode. I was like, okay, I'm ready to see, because she's like the only person that was downing the only person I had to worry about doubt was within myself, something along those lines. I'm like, okay, starting to embody that energy.
So to Issa and Lawrence, do you think what Condola said to him when she was leaving gave him the push to go and like confront Issa?
I feel
What
like
did she say? I
He
can't
said
remember what she
like,
said.
This is like your
don't-
last time you'll see
yeah,
all
exactly.
together.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
Oh,
and I feel like
right.
I don't think she meant it that way, but I think because
No.
where his mind is, he took it that way. I was like,
Yep.
right.
Well, because
Well, and I
Derek
think you can. Yep, Chad.
is the person that brings them together. Like all the events, it's
Agree.
always been Derek and Tiffany. So them being gone, there's not going to be really the reason for them to see each other like
That's
at an event.
True.
That is
You're
so
right.
true.
And then coming off of the heels of what Chad had said about like you not fighting for her, and I think also just the idea of flashing back to the earlier in the episode when he sees Issa and he has that moment and she's by herself, and of course you have that inner dialogue that we don't hear, and then Nathan comes up behind her. I think that probably also kind of gave that spark of like, okay, shoot, I should probably say something.
And they're looking for places, so it's now or never before they move in together. It's a perfect storm.
Yeah, the stakes were high for him. I get where he was coming from, like the stakes, but I really thought Lawrence was out of line.
Out of pocket.
Say it for sure, and I felt like that was a very selfish move to do that in front of everybody, especially Issa. Like, because I understand exactly where he's coming from, but he should have had this energy, before. It shouldn't have took it. It shouldn't have took a talk with Chad for him to like realize Issa needs to be.
Listen, a talk with Chad, and several months later,
right? And even if it was the time, like call her after the party. Call her on her phone. You know her number. Leave a message. Something. Don't embarrass her in front of all these people. Molly's parents. All these Nathan. Like that's just poor timing.
There was a whole month went by that phone call, and then he asked her about it in that moment.
I'm surprised he never even went to her place. Like that's usually how they film these situations.
Like pull on her somewhere else. Don't do.
Right.
Because I was like, the past version of myself would have loved this the idea of two men fighting over me. Like I love that, but I was like, in this instance, I'm like, oh no, this is toxic.
This is not the energy I wanted.
Because
the day had went so well. You know what? Before we get here, I forgot to talk about Nathan having that moment too. Like there is this moment where Nathan, after they had the words with Lawrence in the barbecue, but we weren't really talking about barbecue. We're talking about us at this point, and we can all see it. And then he went out and spoke to his friend. I love his friend was like ready to set it off, and he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna be cool." But then his energy shifted towards Issa because she went back in and she had found the chocolate fountain and
that's right. I wanted to know what was up with that. I don't know if he was taking it out on her, or was it just because he was in a bad mood?
He was in his feelings, and instead of communicating that to her, he just took it out.
That's true.
Just shady.
I totally forgot that. I forgot that moment happened with Nathan and him acting all weird around Issa.
Yeah. And that sucks because I feel like, again, I think this is one space. And I think it also shows that they're really not, they're probably not ready for what they think that they're about to do. Because that, you know what I'm saying? Like you can get thrown off. And I don't think there's anything wrong with your energy getting thrown off for one reason or another, especially if you're being provoked. But being able to kind of step outside of that and be like, she didn't really have nothing to do with that. Like that's none of this in this exact moment has nothing to do with something Issa did at the moment.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Like if he would have communicated in that moment, I think that would have been way better than, him holding on to it and then that escalation. So
So who do y'all think would have won in a fight between Lawrence and Nathan?
Nathan.
I'm still going Nathan. I'm still going Nathan.
Hands down.
Listen, he got that light skin rage. He got the light skin rage. Go for it, Nathan. Give it your all.
Lawrence got a couple inches on him though.
Listen, he's scrappy. I feel like Nathan is scrappy. He was fighting when we met
He
him.
does look scrappy. That's
Houston, I feel like he's just
But
Look, his facial hair says he's all his life he had to fight. So I'm still
I-
going with Nathan.
I thought in that moment Nathan or Lawrence was gonna punch Molly, and I was like, that would have been off.
that's what I was worried about.
I
I
was
was like,
like,
please don't hit any of those.
Yeah, I was like, because that would have been a whole drama moment.
It's the Uber again, all over again, another fight.
Yep.
Right. I was like, ooh, I hope they don't hit a woman right now. But I think Nathan did not have the home court advantage if he had his friend come in there, because Lawrence had all his friends there. So
Chad would have jumped in.
yep. Chad got some.
I feel like no, he's like I was gonna help you, but like I feel like that's Chad.
I was gonna say that too. That's it. Chad was over here.
I had a drink in my hand.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness.
Had these mac and cheese balls in my hand. I could drop.
I just want to drop them. They looked expensive. That kind of thing. Yeah.
You know, I'm
you know what I
sweet.
have on?
I can't mess up the face. Like something stupid like that.
Chad has that energy to him. No, but yeah, I like.
Do you think?
Mhm.
You think that so we get the conversation. Obviously, she's going to take out the trash. I love the fact that she's startled in a way that feels very unnatural, but Issa. But then there's like, can we talk? And it looked like I think the thing that feels so is because she actually tried to get away. I feel again, she tried to walk around him, and then he really was just like, here's my heart, take it.
Mhm.
Are you happy? That question, are you happy though?
Yeah, that knocked the wind out of her.
Knocked the wind out of me.
She didn't answer, right? She didn't
didn't answer.
That's when Nathan kind of came up, his scene right there when she was just speaking about it.
And see, if it's me, we fighting about that later. And I heard him ask you that, and you didn't say nothing.
Oh shit!
Why did you say you was happy?
I feel like from the beginning, though, she should have said it was an accident that she called him. I mean, that's that's just me.
Yeah, I think she was just trying to, be on her honest wave, but it was an accident at the end of the day, so that would have been,
true,
better.
Was it an accident?
No, she did it on purpose. She did it when they were high.
They were high, though.
High.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, I was high. And it kind of, she did take
but there's no good
there's
no good explanation for that even, because it's like that, like I guess they say like drunk thoughts or something. Like the only honest people are babies and drunk people. So I don't know if I would even have admitted that I was drunk, because then now I'm already admitting something without admitting something.
He's like, subconsciously you were thinking of me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That whole ending was so messy. I was just like, ooh. I'm like, I don't know how this episode is gonna be next. But
and they gave us nothing. And they gave us nothing in this preview.
Nothing.
It looks like they're going in the future. Like
they do all these time jumps. I'm like, geez.
Yeah, it's gonna be a time jump already. I can tell.
They should not have even put that preview together. They should have just said next week.
They can't do a time jump because we have to see the
because she had the same clothes. No, she had the same clothes on in the mirror. She had the same hairstyle, the same clothes.
Like,
so
I think
we at least got that much.
It's gonna be a mix, but
I need to see this Nathan and Issa conversation. Cause
So what do y'all think? What do you think? What are we? I feel like we're gonna walk away unresolved. It's gonna be a choose your own adventure ending. That's what I think.
I have a feeling that Issa's not going to end up with Nathan or Lawrence.
I do too.
Nathan's going to leave her, and she doesn't want Lawrence for whatever reason. Again, I don't get it, but cool. And she's going to be by herself doing her own thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like you said, like she's not with either of them, but there's going to be something in the end where, like, I don't know, like a call or something where it's like from Lawrence. I feel like it's going to be Lawrence, and it's like it's going to show like her either going to answer,
gonna pick up the phone or not. Yep.
Yeah, or like, oh, should we go to coffee? Something where she sees them at a coffee, something like that. Where I feel like, and then it ends, and you're gonna be like, well, did she do it or not?
Right.
I don't.
From far left field, Crenshaw shows up at the door, like, I got you, boo.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
They-
that's a win.
that's a possibility.
Yes, it is.
That's a high key
True.
possibility. But I honestly think at the end, she's gonna step into her power and realize like I feel like she's just gonna let everything go. I feel like, yeah, like I think she's gonna drop Lawrence and Nathan and just realize, because it depends. It depends how this Nathan thing goes. Because I
It
think
doesn't
Lawrence
look
lost
good.
his chance.
Yeah, I just don't. I think that again that as much as Issa and Lauren, or not Lawrence, shoot, Nathan are really here for this present moment. I still think that there's a lot of growth and a lot of space that they probably need to communicate on to be, you know, in a space to propel forward now.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah. It's
Especially in LA, you can't give up your apartment like that. It has to be somebody serious if you're gonna, switch apartments. I'm just saying.
And it's so crazy that we got to that point. Like it showed how serious their relationship was. And now at the end, I was like, ooh, what a journey this episode has been.
Right.
But yeah, do you guys have any final thoughts?
I just loved it. I loved it. They gave me everything I needed and more. Torian again was a breakout star for me. I love High Torian. I love him being so supportive. Like it is refreshing to see this grown man just out here, grown manning it up.
Yes.
And not so serious all the time. It's good to see him not so serious.
Yes.
Agree.
Snaps. Yeah.
I like I said, I loved this episode, I think, the most so far, because everyone together, there was the drama that I needed. And it was silly and fun and just everything all together that Insecure is all in one episode.
Exactly.
And I think they're gonna be on some bullshit with this next episode, so this is what we needed before that.
Yeah.
Agree.
And the drama you know you needed, you got it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Oh my gosh. I hope the last episode ends with a bang. I'm pretty sure Issa would. Well, I don't know. They gave us a whole season, so I'm not sure. I absolutely don't know what Issa and Prentice got up.
We need a good finale. Like HBO has been,
yeah, HBO does not have a good
Game of Thrones. Let's make sure Insecure,
because Game of Thrones was on HBO, right?
Yeah, it was trash.
Yeah, that finale.
The worst ending.
Even like more classic shows, right? Like Sopranos. That I guess that ending was trash. I never watched it, but I always get people tell me that all the time. So yeah, HBO.
Even Sex and the City ending to the season when his name was John. What?
Oh yeah,
I have to watch.
I remember that. Yeah,
I have to watch that because I see so many people on Twitter complaining about that.
Yeah, like, come on.
Man, I'm just gonna send well wishes, Issa and Prentice. I really hope y'all put your foot into this last episode, the end of it air, like y'all said in that preview. I'm so excited. But yeah, thank you, ladies, for joining me for this whole duration of this season. So excited. Next week is the last episode. And yeah, thank you all for listening as well. Again, like, comment, and subscribe and share. Thank you. But yeah, thank you all, ladies, again. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.